Hi, I'm Matt Richardson.
And I'm Becky Stern. Welcome to Make Live. We're here at Maker Faire Detroit at the Henry Ford, and we've got a lot of exciting things to show you, so don't go anywhere.
This episode of Make Live is brought to you by DigiKey.
So it's the evening before Maker Faire. It's Friday night. The makers are coming in. They're checking in.
Excitement's happening. The
Yes.
show's live, which means that you can interact with each other and us in the chat room.
Yes.
Weather cleared up. It was pouring rain last night, but the sun's come out. The energy's really picking up, and everybody's setting up for Maker Faire.
We're going to have great weather this weekend. So if you're in the area, come on by. It's a lot of fun. If you're not in the area, we're going to give you a little bit of a taste of what Maker Faire is all about.
Yep.
So, here there's 350 maker exhibitors, but 1,200 makers when you include the maker assistants and everything. And last year at Detroit, we had 20,000 attendees.
I think there'll be more this year.
I think so. This is the 11th Maker Faire and the second in Detroit.
So exciting.
Yeah. So, you are going to go wrangle a big dragon.
I'm going to go get the dragon.
And I'm going to go talk to Dale here.
Right.
Dale, come on over. This is Dale. He's the founder of Make, and you've been in Detroit now all week. Tell me what you've been doing.
Well, mainly we've been going out looking at makers' work in preparations for Maker Faire, visiting some of the hacker spaces like i3 Detroit, OCD, and just seeing what they're up to. And also just seeing some artist studios, maker workshops, seeing where people are doing their work day to day, kind of recording some of it, trying to understand what's going on.
Great. And so tell me about having a Maker Faire in Detroit. What makes Detroit special?
Well, I think partly the location here at the Henry Ford says a little bit about what makes Detroit special. There's this really a legacy of making things here, of invention, creation. Henry Ford creates a car 100 years ago or so. Not the only person to create a car, but obviously really understands what a car means, not just what it does. And I think that's kind of really fascinating piece to work on. So it's an inspiring place there, but that shows the past, and I'm interested in what's happening today. Where do we see people tinkering, creating, and making things? And I think it's here in Detroit, but it's not always visible. So we're trying to, for a weekend, celebrate it and bring it out for everybody to see.
What kind of highlights? What's a highlight for you for this Maker Faire? What are a few of your favorites?
Well, I think it's coming up right here at Gon Corinne, the Mad Dragon from Ryan Doyle, and just how it got here last Wednesday in the rain with cyclists and everybody. It was really a special evening, kind of an impromptu parade to bring it, about 9 o'clock at night into Maker Faire with cyclists spinning around and all that. So that's important, and that's a large scale piece of art, and it's a signature piece. Another one here is Theater Bazaar, which is kind of been this illegal carnival that runs right next to the closed state fairgrounds. I mean, it's an interesting symbol of Detroit. They've taken dilapidated homes and turned them into haunted houses. I mean, and they've for the first time really have brought a lot of their stuff here at Maker Faire, and it's created by John Donovan, and we talk about game design and creating worlds. Well, John is creating a physical world for you to experience.
Now, I have a question. When Maker Faire is going on, what are you doing? Are you just enjoying it, or are you just totally stressed out? Do you have too much to do?
No, when it's going, actually my work's done, and I just get to go around and enjoy it, and just check in with the makers. I like to see them, what they're doing, and talk to them. That's almost the happiest time of the fair, is just to, we're in it, and they're doing it. Our work comes to set it up, but the fair itself is what the makers do. Great.
Well, thank you for being on the show,
okay.
Dale. We'll let you go and meet the makers again.
Okay.
I want to hear about this enormous dragon we have coming behind us, Becky. What's going on here?
Well, I'm here with Ryan Doyle, co-creator with Teddy Lowe of the Gong Kieran. What can you tell me about the Gong Kieran, Ryan?
Well, she's a large interactive kinetic sculpture that's meant to be sort of a playground for adults and children. And she has a fully hydraulic head, a flamethrower in the nose, which you can see, and it's built on an old Dodge W300 pickup truck from 1963.
Where'd you get the name?
Teddy and I came up with the name while we were just handing back sketches back and forth. It means light dragon and sort of is meant to represent East Rising, or the Chinese, like the sleeping dragon of the Chinese economy, kind of poised to pounce.
Little bit of political undertones going on there.
A little bit.
It's pretty good. What can you tell me about what he's made out of?
She made of a, like I said, a 1963 Dodge W300 Power Wagon dump truck. So we rerouted the hydraulics. All these tires that we made to kind of look like skin are all from the freeway here in Detroit, off 75, 94, etc. Some of the other metal is concrete forms. You can see the Space Invaders arcade game that we found in a building. But the main reason we came here to Detroit from Oakland, where we started building it, is to finish it in Motor City. And I came here in October and completely fell in love with Detroit and Detroiters. So,
how did you transport him?
She goes on a...
Sorry, she.
I don't want to get too sexist here, but she goes on a trailer, lowboy 53-foot semi-trailer, and then some of the more fragile parts, the speakers, the high-tech gear. Right now, we've got a few of the LEDs on them, and we hope to keep showing the kids how we're continuing to put on some of the LEDs. And we also are running, because of Joshua Goldberg, who's our tech guy, he's got it programmed so I can actually run all the LEDs just off my iPhone.
Oh, that's great. I know Josh Goldberg from Parsons. He's awesome. What can you tell me about driving him across Detroit? I heard you had a fun adventure.
Well, Steve is our driver, and we drove here thinking that we could save a little money from renting a crane, throwing it on a trailer, and we thought it would be a lot more exciting to just bring the Dragon for her first ride through Detroit. So we came down West Grand and past the police station, and they saw us and shut their shutters so they could just ignore us, which was great. We passed about 3 or 4 other cop cars and didn't even get a second look. And we called ahead to Dearborn thinking they're maybe a little more not used to crazy dragons running through the street. But it ran great, and we have had a little bit of hydraulic trouble, so we called the guys over at Keystone Hydraulics, and they actually just showed up right before we came over here with a newly rebuilt cylinder.
Wow, how nice.
Super good guys.
What can you tell me about the metalworking of the face and the claws?
Well, you can see on the claws still where we're not quite finished. I think the whole project itself is only about 80% finished. We build everything out of a 1/4-inch pencil steel wire frame and then cover it with a tag board or some sort of paper, cut out a template, transfer that to steel, cut that out with a nibbler, and then do some more of the fine touches with just hand shears or snips, and then weld it all together. So when we started, I chose 2 other guys named Ryan so that we could start the 3 Ryan army, and it's me, Big Ryan, Middle Ryan, which is Ryan Carmichael, and Little Ryan, which is Ryan Oliver. And they have since then been learning how to weld. They've been doing a lot of the weld. Obviously, I do more of the structural welding because I'm certified, but all the littler stuff. And
how many people does it seat?
Seats about 30-some.
Sounds like a sweet ride. Where are you taking her next?
Next, we are going to bring it to New York. We're hoping to get in on Maker's World Fair a little bit, and also throwing some more private events, big parties kind of thing.
And the Halloween parade?
And then the Halloween parade downtown Manhattan.
I can't wait.
Yeah, we're pretty excited about that.
Well, thank you so much.
They're going to let us turn the fire on, so.
Oh, wow, that's rare that they let you do the fire.
Step back for a sec and we'll just let them. Oh, no, we're too close to the trees. Never mind.
To blow?
Hey! Sorry, what?
We'll back him up a little bit and try to get some. Woo! You can feel the heat coming off of that guy.
It's a lot of BTUs.
How many gallons of propane?
She holds 250 gallons of liquid propane and has 2 expansion chambers so that we can keep the volume up really big and sustained.
Crazy. Thanks, Ryan. This is really my favorite thing at Maker Faire this year, I think. So thanks for bringing it out.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. And Teddy and I are both really excited to be here. So
awesome. Well, next we're going to throw to Matt. Matt, who have you got over there?
Bill, come on over. They're going to back that out, right? They're going to back this away. All right. Okay. So I'm here with Bill Gerstel. He's the author of The Practical Pyromaniac. Tell me a little bit about the book.
Well, thanks for having me here, Matt. I'm really excited to be at Maker Faire. The Practical Pyromaniac is a book about fire, and I've been interested in fire for a long time. I've written a lot of past books that are all about sort of DIY, edgy science, and I found that the projects that people like best are kind of fire related. There's something just satisfying, and there's something interesting about it from inside you. So I decided that I was going to explore fire, why people find it interesting, why it's a cool thing, and actually allow people to understand what fire is by playing with it. Originally the book was going to be called Playing with Fire, which I thought was a cool title, but we like The Practical Pyromaniac just as much. So it's a book about fire, understanding what it is, and it's a lot of cool science and a lot of cool projects.
So what is fire then?
Okay, if you were to ask a chemist, well, let's say we asked, people at Maker Faire, and you go, what is fire? What is fire? You get 10 different answers. Fire is heat and light, fire is hotness, fire is plasma. There people know what it is sort of in their minds, but they can't really articulate it. If you were to ask a chemist what is fire, he'd say it's a high temperature, self-sustaining reaction, chemical reaction between oxygen and a hydrocarbon fuel. But,
okay.
That doesn't really help,
Right.
Okay,
Right.
great. So what fire really is something, it is a chemical reaction, obviously, but by playing with it, you kind of understand what it is. And that's what this book, and that's what all my projects are all about.
So can you tell us a little bit about the projects that are in the book? What kind of projects do people do?
Okay, they run the gamut from real easy, simple projects that are, pretty much acceptable for, anybody over age 13, to some really kind of edgy stuff.
I think we are back.
Oh, it's good to be back. That was scary.
I know, that's the longest outage we've had on an episode of Make Live, but the internet is always super crazy.
It's this face, isn't it? Is that what
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Well, we were talking about the book, and I'll just kind of,
Tell us about your book, Practical Pyromaniac. I'm excited to read it.
Yeah, here's Matt back. The Practical Pyromaniac is a book of science experiments, like I'm saying. And Matt was asking me, what are the projects like? And they run the gamut from very simple projects to some rather elaborate ones. Now, they're not as elaborate as they actually, the last project in the book, the one you work up to, is a flamethrower. And it's technically a propane cannon. It doesn't throw jellied gasoline, which is what people think, but it's pretty involved, and I showed how to make that. And there's some other good ones. There's a flame tube or a Rubens tube, which I know you talked about.
We had that on the show.
Yeah. How'd that work out for you?
It was great. We found this. Bill was supposed to be on the show. You had a family emergency. We got Jared Ficklin. He's a YouTube Rubens tube expert.
Okay. Well, the Rubens tube is really fun. I'm actually demonstrating one right here at Maker Faire. So if anybody does hear this and want to come by, I'd love to show it to you. So there's a lot of projects in the book. One thing I wanted to mention is that in the book, it's not just science. It's also about the people who sort of figured out what fire is. And they're famous scientists, and they're people you've probably heard of. Joseph Priestley and Antoine Lavoisier, Benjamin Franklin, people you've heard of. And we're having a contest, actually, about them, and it's called the Maker Faire Clarihue Contest. Do you know what a clarihue is?
No, what is it?
Okay, a clarihue is a 4-line biographical poem. The first line is the person's name, and the second line rhymes, and the third and fourth line rhymes.
Can you give us an example?
Well, the most famous one is about Humphrey Davy, who was one of these fire scientists. And it goes, Sir Humphrey Davy abominated gravy, and he lived in the odium of discovering sodium. Okay, so they're just kind of these funny little doggerel poems, but we're having a contest, and you can read more about it at bit.ly.
Oh, no, we've got the link in the chat to that. Yeah, the link's being sent to the chat about the contest.
Okay, great. Well, I encourage people to enter. We have prizes, great Maker Shed prizes, and if you're a poet and don't know it, or even if you do know it, I encourage you to enter. I encourage everybody to enter. You should enter.
I should enter. My dad at the newspaper he worked at ran a limerick contest, so I'm all about it.
All right. Nothing too dirty, okay?
All right.
All right. Very good. And what else can I tell you about?
I think you can show us the catapult, but I think Matt wants to jump back in to have you show us the catapult so I can get ready for our next guest.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, so you got the catapult. Showing this at Maker Faire.
Yeah. This is, I don't know if the camera can see it or not, but this is a foldable portable catapult. Now, I know a lot about catapults. I love catapults, okay? And the thing I figured out after many years is they're hard to build because you have to build them strong, but they're hard to keep because they're so darn big. Very few people want to give up, a garage space, put their car outside to keep their catapult. So in the next issue of Make Magazine, was that Make 28?
28.
Make 28. One of the big projects is this one. It's a fold-up catapult. And it's nice because it doesn't take up so much space. So you can make it bigger than this, but this is a good size. Should we shoot something?
Yeah, let's try it out.
All right. So this is a dog toy. Because dog toys don't hurt when they land on people a lot, whereas like, hard things do. So I'm going to cock it and aim it, and then we'll fire at a bunch of unsuspecting people.
We got some people back there.
So maybe we should need a horn of some sort. So anyway, I'm going to cock it.
All right, I'll warn the people out there. All right, we're going to launch something right to you guys, all right? Whoever catches it gets a T-shirt. All right, so they know. All right. All right. We've got a nice crowd ready to catch the payload here. Oh, okay. I get to do the honors here.
Don't fire it. Don't do it until
Okay. All right. Okay. I'll stand clear.
You hit it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. We'll give that a shot. That should work. All right.
Okay. Here we go.
Here we go. Wait. I'm going to let you do this. Now, this is kind of hot. Shall I do it or do you want to do it?
Why don't you do it? I don't want to be held responsible for a... All right, here we go.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
Oh. All right.
That's a winner. Give that man a T-shirt.
All right, so we've got our winner back there. Becky is running over a T-shirt, a DigiKey T-shirt to the maker over there who got...
So good. Anyway, if you're at Maker Faire, please come and see me. I don't want to be lonely here. Okay?
All right. Okay, well, thank you for being on the show. We appreciate it, and hopefully we'll have you on the show again sometime.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye. All right, so as Dale mentioned before, he was visiting makerspaces here in Detroit, and he visited Russ Wolf from i3 Detroit, and he shows us what they're bringing to Maker Faire. So take a look.
We're in Ferndale, Michigan here at i3 Detroit, just the week before Maker Faire, just kind of getting everything ready, going through the chaos of preparation. And I'm Russ Wolf, founding member of i3 Detroit.
So what's coming to Maker Faire?
Oh boy, we've got Sprite Chase, which is a cell phone scavenger hunt game. We've got a podcast trailer. What else? We got Power Wheels Racing Series, is where we actually take original plastic Power Wheels and then you modify it, electric motors. You can only spend up to $500, and it's adults actually racing in modified Power Wheels.
When it's assembled, it looks to the outside eyes like a stock Power Wheels, but there's a new steel frame in here. So here's one of the original 6-volt motors, been replaced with a 36-volt 1,000-watt scooter motor. Yeah, it's new because we set one on fire in Kansas City. Once you got two guys building little vehicles, a race is going to happen, and now it's a matter of pride. Now we got the trophy, and I'll just kill myself if we don't win it again. I don't know what I'm going to do. So we're pretty pleased that we're going to have the trophy built here. We'll take it to Maker Faire, win it, bring it right back home. Last year we've shaken out all the failures, the points of failure. So yeah, except for catching on fire one time, I think this thing is going to be rock solid.
Dustin said he'd be furious if we didn't bring it home after making it, so he wants to see it come home too.
Yep.
All right, well, I'm here with Jim Burke from the Power Racing Series. Tell me about what the Power Racing Series is all about.
Well, a Power Racing Series is a series of races that you take a children's Power Wheel toy and you hack and modify it so that grown-up and heavier-weighted people like myself can race them.
So, and what's your association with it?
Oh, I'm the founder, and I guess I came up with this idea at some point. In 2009, we were sitting around our hackerspace pumping station 1 in Chicago, and we found a Power Wheel in a dumpster. And we were, having a few, driving around the back alley, reminiscing about what it was like to be not the kid who had one of these when you were younger, because it was always the richer kid down the block who had them. And I had to make a wisecrack saying how funny it would be if a bunch of people raced them. Hackerspace turned around, looked at me, and said, "You should do that," and I did. 3 years later.
That's great. So now Becky is riding around in the background on one of these vehicles. She's got a nice pink helmet on. Can you tell me a little bit about this one?
This is Pumping Station 1's entry. It is known as Cop Bike. It is a modified Harley-Davidson Power Wheel with a scooter parts and components.
Are you okay, Becky? All right. She's okay, everybody.
We have to try to win a race with that. Anyway, it's okay. Our driver, Lindsay Oliver, will make sure she won't put it into the wall. She's pretty good. She actually won our, what do you call it? We had a race in Milwaukee in May that she placed extremely well in, so I'm hoping she'll do well for our team coming up soon. Anyway, what was that question?
How long did it take to build something like this?
Oh, Patrick Callahan, the team lead for Pumping Station 1, put that together in a weekend. Yeah, he had nothing else to do, and he was really excited about it. So he, over the course of a weekend, a 3-day weekend, got all the parts shipped in and just started hacking away, and it was a lot of fun, he said.
Cool. Now, can you tell me about how someone wins this? Is it scored or something like that?
Right, okay, well, it is a racing series by name, and in some respects, the event itself. You do get points for how you finish in the race. However, there is a not racing part about it known as Moxie points. We have an Arduino-controlled board of buttons that goes throughout the crowd, and next to each button is a team name. If you press that button, points go to the teams that the crowd thinks is doing something fun, entertaining, or they might just blow up and horrible things happen, and the crowd gives them pity points. So there is that fun aspect to the event.
Now, I heard from Dale that you're actually quite a showman, and you do the announcer thing. Could you give our audience a little bit of a taste of what you're doing when the show's going on?
Well, I mean, I just do the announcing, and I'll MC for the event, color commentary, if you will. So if someone caught on fire, like i3 Detroit did a month ago at Kansas City, I believe my exact words were, and that's... There it goes, and it's blown and gone. Out of the race is i3 Detroit. Just something simple like that.
That's great.
You get the announcer voice, and you kind of go with it.
That's great. Now, you were telling me before about Bree Pettis and a little incident. What happened there?
Last year, Bree stopped by here at Maker Faire Detroit.
Bree is a friend of Make, obviously, MakerBot, so on.
And he decided to drive one of our joke cars, which was... AmeriCar. It was a not very modified Hummer that was painted red, white, and blue with number 76 on it. But what happened, the steering was flipped, so he turned right, it turned left. It had this air raid siren that blasted music, except what happened was that someone didn't wire it correctly because it was 4 a.m. and we were all really tired. I did not do this. Just a disclaimer. But it did catch on fire while he was driving, and I still have photos of that, and kind of a moment.
So he's okay, obviously.
Oh yeah, he's fine. Yeah, the reason he's not here is he has a kid now. So not because he's on fire still.
Now, can you tell me a little bit about the other side to the whole competition, the learning and the collaboration a little bit?
Oh well, one of the neat things I'd like to say, odd consequence of having a bunch of grown men and women get together to modify children's toys that void warranties and catch on fire, is that you actually form a larger cohesive community that is working on a similar project, so they face the same perils and mistakes and errors that everyone would face when they try to do high voltage or high current electronics. And all these hacker spaces start talking to each other. We have a forum online where the teams chat about ideas and stuff. And in the pit lane is during Saturday and Sunday. If you don't feel like watching the race, and for some reason racing bores you, and I can understand that, though this won't, you watch the pits. In between races, you will see teams frantically tearing things apart, fixing, welding, talking to other teams. Someone's drill will break. Oh, I need this. And everyone's actually working together. And it's that neat balance between competition and having a not serious enough event for you guys to for teams to battle it out. They share, and it's fantastic. And it's actually one of the most fun part. It's my favorite part of the event, putting it on every year. So.
Great. Well, why don't you, Becky's getting off the bike here. Hey, Becky, come on. She's dismounting from the bike.
Making sure there's no fires anymore.
How I had to know, how is it riding the vehicle around?
It's really fun.
Right. Well, thank you for being on the show. We appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Thanks, Jim.
Yeah. So you'll take the bike.
Yeah. I parked it over there. It doesn't have too many dents in it.
All right. So our show sponsor is DigiKey, and they let us do a wonderful giveaway, and this show is no exception.
we'll be giving away about $200 of electronics prizes. What are we giving away, Matt?
We are giving away a digital multimeter, a jumper wire kit, a solderless breadboard, and a resistor multi-pack for those of you who are interested in electronics.
Yeah, get your electronics on.
Now, how does someone win something like that?
All right, so we do a photo challenge. The rules of the photo challenge are I show you a photo, we ask you a question about it, and you answer it correctly in the chat, and you win. The first person who gets it right in the chat wins. So the rules are you can't be a friend of the show to win. If you've won before, give someone else a chance, and you have to live in the United States or Canada.
All right.
You ready for the question?
I'm ready. I want to see it.
Okay, we put up the photo. Photo's up. Okay, the question is, what year did the Model T make its debut? Very Henry Ford related question here.
I think it's a good question. Year? We've got a lot of smart chat users out there.
We got the first commercial automobile, the Model T. When did it make its debut? We're not looking at the chat right now, so I couldn't tell you if there are lots of guesses.
We're waiting to get the signal that we've got.
Our volunteer Roger's saying nobody's getting it right yet. Keep trying.
I'm sure.
What year? Model T debut. Got it. We have a winner. Great. We'll get your details.
The answer
and congratulations.
What was the answer?
1908.
1908. Cool. Well, congratulations to the winner. And we have another guest, don't we?
We do. We have a guest who's going to show us a really rad DIY neuroscience project from Backyard Brains. First, let's learn a little bit about Backyard Brains.
Hello, we're Backyard Brains. Do you want to accelerate neuroscience innovation? Do you want to study neurons on a train? Do you want to study neurons on a plane? Do you want to show neuroscience to your grandma? Do you want to hang out with lovely outdoor sportswear models? Do you think bugs are really, really cool? Do you not have the means to get into an institution like this, but instead only have your basement workshop? Do you want to improve the state of neuroscience education? Well, Tim and Greg can help you. We present the open source Spiker Box, where you can inexpensively record from the nervous system of insects. But how do you use it? Let's show you. To begin, take some ice from your mother-in-law's refrigerator. Then, go downstairs to your basement workshop and grab your cockroaches from their favorite hiding place. Make sure they're alive and healthy. Take one of the good ones and dunk it in the ice water anesthesia. After a few moments, it'll stop moving and will be ready for the surgery. Carefully cut off one of its legs. Don't worry, they can grow back.
Hey everybody, I'm here with Greg Gage from Backyard Brains. Hey Greg.
Hey Becky, how are you doing?
I'm a little sweaty from the helmet, but pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm enjoying the Maker Faire already. No?
What do you bring to show us?
So today we're going to do some neuroscience. You probably think you need to get a PhD and go to some fancy university, but no, Becky, here, you know, in the middle of a parking lot in suburban Detroit and Dearborn, we're going to be able to do actual neuroscience that's being done at fancy universities all around the world.
I gotta say, I'm a little nervous about what we're gonna do today. What's the experiment?
So today what you're gonna do is we're gonna be working with our model organism, which is the cockroach. And cockroaches have neurons just like we do. You know, everybody, all of our senses come in through neurons, through our eyes, through our taste, and through our touch. All these are being processed by the brain and it comes back in the form of a communication to the muscles. All this is done through spikes. So we want to be able to look at these spikes and understand exactly how the brain actually works using this simple currency, the euro of the brain, so to speak. So your job is you're going to have a number of hats today. All right. The first thing I need you to do, I need you to be the anesthesiologist. I want you to knock out one of our cockroaches. Okay.
Now you know I'm a New Yorker, right? So I have a thing about cockroaches.
Right, so these, like, I know you're from New York. You probably like cockroaches because you see them all the time. But unfortunately, these are not the cockroaches from your neck of the woods. These come from South America. And South American cockroaches, they live in a lot hotter temperatures. They actually move a lot faster, but they're actually better in you know, more temperate climates like here, actually even New York, because they would move a lot slower. So they're not so gross and creepy. All right, but let's go. I'm going to have you go ahead and grab one of these cockroaches from here, and they should be nice and warm and nice and moving pretty quickly. So, and grab one that's moving pretty quickly. There's a good one right there. Okay. Thank you very much. So you might be wondering why are we putting it in the ice water? You know, that's a good question. Like what are we doing?
I'm wondering how I just touched a cockroach. That's what I'm wondering.
Whoops. He's a little bit feisty. He's a feisty little one, but he'll soon learn some respects. That was impressive. Yes. So what we're doing is we're dumping him in ice water. Have you ever had surgery done?
I have. Look at my knees.
Yeah. So were you awake when you had that surgery?
Not for very many of them.
Yeah. So I mean, the idea is that when you have like things that cause pain, we don't want to be awake for that. We want to be sort of anesthetized or being asleep. So what you've done, you've actually anesthetized our cockroach here by putting in ice water.
I'm much less afraid of him now.
Yeah, so he'll stop moving. And the reason why he stops moving is because unlike us, they can't control their body temperature. So therefore, they basically stop firing their neurons, which means they stop moving and they also stop feeling pain. So what you're going to do next is you're going to be cutting off the leg and doing it, becoming a Are you a neurosurgeon by chance?
I'm not, but I play one on TV.
You do play one. You're going to play one today. So what I'm going to have you do...
I want to show the cockroach to the camera. Can you give me the one that's more asleep? You don't know which one is more asleep.
This one's actually the one that's not more asleep.
Oh,
so.
Great. Okay, I'm going to show you guys he's much less scary to touch when he's asleep.
So these guys come from, like I said, they come from South America. They're actually a little bit larger than the ones we have here, but they're beautiful. This is the adult. They have these beautiful wings.
He's way bigger than any cockroach I've ever seen in New York, fortunately.
I didn't think they flew, but I found out just recently that they actually do fly when it gets a little bit warmer. So maybe
I think he needs a little more time.
Tomorrow, we can actually experiment with getting these guys to fly. All right, so what we're going to do, I'm going to lay it out here, and I'm going to have you take this pair of scissors, and I want you to cut the leg off the cockroach. I'm going to show you where.
But we learned that it's going to grow back, right?
These legs will grow back. So we are a very green company. We try to recycle whenever we can. So let me put this microphone down. So I'm going to show you. You're going to cut right, kind of close to the body, right there, like a little bit lower, lower. Good. Now one foul swoop. Good job. All
Woo!
Right.
Okay, we got a cockroach leg. Can I show that to the camera?
Yeah, you can show that to the camera. So what we've done, this is a leg. But the interesting thing about cockroaches is different. If I cut your leg off, your leg would probably die within, a couple of minutes. Yes. Yeah, I didn't bring the chocolate dip, which really goes good with it.
I would eat bugs, totally.
So these
legs
are really cool because they have these called spiracles, these little holes that allow you to exchange oxygen and carbon dioxide, so they can breathe basically through a hole in their leg.
That's cool.
So this leg can stay alive for like 3 to 4 days, and that's our record.
What do we do with this guy?
So we're going to put him back in the ice so he doesn't wake up pretty soon. So then we're going to allow him to heal a little bit, and then we'll put him back.
He's going to be a little.
Yeah, we actually this is kind of a neat thing to talk about. We have a place called Shady Acres. Where when the legs get cut off, we put them in a retirement community, and they sort of like do whatever cockroaches do. They they mate, they eat, and they do. So therefore, we have a constant supply of cockroaches from these experiments. All right, so what I'm going to have you do now, you're going to be the electrophysiologist, and we're going to be recording from this. So like I said, the leg's still alive. There's still neurons in those legs, and those legs are going to be the neurons are going to be sending information back. And so if I were to touch your arm like this, like even though you don't see my fingers, you feel it because you've got sensors inside of your skin that are sending information to your brain in the form of spikes. Same thing's happening to this cockroach. I'm going to have you place the electrode inside the leg, like right there. That's perfect. She's putting it in a spot where I don't think there's many neurons. And then that's the reference. And then you're going to take the other one, and you're going to stick it inside the femur right there. That's perfect. All right.
I'm going to show this.
All right, so let's bring it up to the camera. So she has basically a pin that's right inside the leg, right where all the neurons are basically sending their axons up to the brain. These are all just terms for just wires that are like biological wires that are coming up to the brain. So I need you to be the union contractor and go ahead and turn that on for us.
Where's the switch? Oh, right there. Union. I have a lot of hats. Yeah, you're right. Union contractor. Ooh.
All right. Turn it up a little bit. What does that sound like to you?
Static.
Yeah, it sounds like noise to most people, but to me and to all the electrophysiologists out there, this is the most beautiful sound in the world. And the reason why, because when we work in the laboratory, we actually will take hours and hours and hours to do a surgery, and then at the end, 50% of the times we actually hear this noise, and that's good. So when we hear that, you always go home and relax, have a beer, because it's a successful day. But actually, what's nice about this prep is that pretty much anyone can do that. From 6th grade on up, anyone can just place pins inside there, and they can record this beautiful thing, which is neurons. So I'm making the argument that these are cells, and I'm also making the argument that they're touch cells, which means that they're going to be able to respond to touch. So I want you to take this piece of paper and brush it against the leg, and hold the microphone up so we can hear what happens. Yeah. So what you're seeing took about 50 years in neuroscience to discover, which is called rate coding. And that is the number of spikes per second, or the rate at which the neuron fires, is telling you information about the pressure of this paper that you're pressing on there. If you press lightly, there's a small amount of spikes. If you just press there's a lot more spikes. And so what
leg's moving.
Yeah, so what we're trying to do is we're trying to bring neuroscience down into the high school so that everyone everywhere can sort of learn a little bit about neuroscience. You don't have to go to these fancy colleges and get the fancy degree just to be able to do something that you did right here.
That's great. And you're showing this at Maker Faire, right?
Yeah, we're in the Maker Faire. We're in the science tent right next to the mousetrap, and so we're here all weekend. So I mean, we also
so this
have.
Is a kit, right?
Yeah, we have a kit that we're actually selling online. So for less than $45 now, you can actually do your own neuroscience at home, write your own papers, be your own single first author. You don't need a funding institution. You can just do it right there in your garage.
So I can take those New York cockroaches and catch them, put them in some
you
ice.
Can literally every insect has neurons. So
okay. Well, that was the most exciting thing I've done, including riding the Power Wheels. But I can't say, I still got to go with the Gonkirin for my favorite because these cockroaches, they make my blood pressure go up. Well, that's so great. Thanks, Greg.
All right. Well, thank you very much for having me.
Great.
All right. Bye-bye.
We're going to go over to the... oh, yeah.
There we go.
Okay.
All right. Great.
Now it's time to go back over here.
I have to say... I cannot believe you grabbed that cockroach. I would never have been able to do that.
That's a New Yorker, too. What can I say? All for you guys.
That's pretty cool.
Sweet. So that's our show for today. There's a lot more to see at Maker Faire Detroit, so you can check it out on the web. We're also taking videos. There's videos from about the Gonkirin up on our YouTube channel, and you can check those out.
Yeah, and Maker Faire New York is also coming up. That's September 17th and 18th.
Yeah, we'll hopefully see the Gonkirin there also, and lots of great other stuff. It'll be our Makeys Award show.
Yep.
But our next show is actually August 10th, and that'll be all about metalworking.
It's back on its normal schedule, Wednesday, 9.
Yep. And as usual, our show is archived. That includes videos, chat transcripts, and show notes at makescene.com/live.
And if you have any feedback for the show, send it to live@makescene.com. We love to hear your feedback, and we want to hear about your projects. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, I can't wait to, let's go. All right, bye.